Mulibwanji. Welcome back to the BeOfficial podcast. I'm your host, your guy, Paul Payne 837, and I brought my co-host, Director D's in the house. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. And don't forget to subscribe, comment, and hit the like button because this shows that you guys are truly paying attention, and it shows that you're showing the love and support, and it makes us even do these things even bigger and better. So today's topic is rather very intriguing. You know, it talks about why you should live full and not just exist, you know. So without further ado, welcome to the Uncut Conversations, and let's go into the intro. Director D.
Yes.
What does it mean to be alive and not just walking through life?
What does it mean to be alive? I think it's prudent in today's society to understand what truly being alive is. I live by two quotes that I'm going to just read to you guys that help me understand life. The first one reads, it says, "To live is the rarest thing in the world because most people just exist." You know, finding the true purpose of why you're put on this earth gives you a zeal to know what really living is and not just existing. The other one is, life itself is a privilege, but to live life to the fullest is a choice that one has to make. I think most of us get caught up in other people's lives that we forget to live our own life. Knowing that that's a choice that one has to make is very officially needful. So I think truly living, for me, what I've come to understand is when you find the reason as to why God put you on this earth. I think Miles Monroe is one of the people that always reminds me of the importance of purpose in life, that we truly start living when we find the reason as to why God put us on this earth. So one of the things that I think I might highlight among us, the other people that I follow, from Miles Monroe to Steve Butler, Robert Madu, among others. I think I'll pick some of the things that I learned from Stephen Butler, Diary of a CEO. He said the first thing that I'm gonna highlight what truly living is, because often at the times we forget the importance of other aspects that we need to look at in life when we pertain to living. So number one is health. As much as we often want to live life to the fullest, one of the critical elements that we ought to consider in life is our health. I think when COVID pandemic hit, it gave us a realization of the importance of health. And I think that's when all of us in the world realized how much importance of our health is. And looking at it from a work perspective, I think the first thing I can say is setting goals pertaining to health. Many times we do not look at our health when we're setting goals. One of the things that you would find amongst us creatives, I think for me and my partner Paul, you find we have an itinerary of a lot of things that we need to do just only during the week. We have about three to 4 days in a week that we constantly need to shoot and edit, and the rest of the days of the week to put out the content, upload and whatnot. And then you can imagine in the midst of planning, shooting, editing and uploading, recycling, all of that. So week to week, we are constantly working. So in the moment, we're not looking at how that impacts the health of the person, because we are focused on the goals that we've set that we want to achieve with the Propane brand, with the Propane podcast, and with the BeOfficial podcast. So we're constantly looking at what do we need to do to improve, and then we're not seeing how much the sleepless nights, the insomnia is taking a toll on the health, So we're constantly setting goals to get to the next level and foregoing the importance of looking at how is our health looking at, are we eating? Because trust me, when we are working, eating is the last thing you think about. When you are working, sleeping is the last thing you think about, because you're constantly looking for the next thing that you want to do, the next goal that you want to achieve, the next thing that you want to tick off on the vision board. So health is the last thing that you want to look at. But now, in hindsight, we're often being reminded of how much importance health is. So taking a minute to realize, are we treating ourselves better, looking at our body health? And not only body health, are we taking care of our mental health? Because often are the times that when the body is not rested, when the body is not fully taken aware of, when you wait for your body to tell you to slow down, it will oftenly remind you to say, now we need to put a pin in this, now we need to rest. So we don't need to wait for our bodies to tell us to slow down. We don't need to wait for our bodies to tell us to shut down. We need to always keep a constant eye of our body health and our mental health as well, if we ought to move. And I think the other thing I would mention is the power of no. The power of no is learning when to say no. I think in our journey, working together, we would often say yes to a lot of things, and not realizing how much of work we were putting on our itinerary. We would have clients left and right. Anybody that came through, we just said yes. Anybody that came through, we just said yes, because we needed the money then, but then not realizing how much of a toll that would take. So me explaining this is, you would find, for example, we have maybe 20 clients in a month, that of which servicing 20 clients is a lot of work, and that lot of work takes sleepless nights, sleepless hours doing the work, and us taking a lot of clients kind of affected the quality of the work that we put out. But then now we've realized that there is power in saying no. It's not everything that we need to do, in understanding that our services are not for everybody. So it's learning to say no to certain things. No is us realizing the quality of the work that we want to put in. So making sure that the things that we say yes to, we want to make sure that we give our maximum effort to make sure that we produce quality work for our clientele. So understanding to say no to certain things is really important. The other thing I would highlight in the same essence of saying no is realizing that all you can do is your best, and when you've exhausted yourself, you can't give somebody else your best. But understanding to say yes to the things that we can manage and you can manage gives you the courage to know that you can be your best and you can give your best, and that relieves you of the idea of being perfect, because often at the times I think we are one of the peoples that struggles with perfection, because everything that we put out, we want to make sure that it's perfect. And at the end of the day, you realize that life is not a sprint, but a marathon. So you need to make sure that you're not comparing yourself with other people, because life is a one-step journey, and your journey is your journey. So focusing on your journey is very important, because at the end of the day, you all have different goals, and you shouldn't be forced to compare yourself to somebody else. Yeah. Mr. 837.
Yes, sir.
How can you prioritize living in the present moment and finding joy in everyday experiences?
Very beautiful question. Today's topic is rather intriguing because I feel with how fast-paced the world is living, we tend to miss out on the important things that life really brings, because now it's more like we just want the faster things rather than focus on gratification and gratitude. Now it's all about what can I get fast? What can I, everything has now changed. There's now fast delivery, we want fast internet, we want everything to be just fast. So with how the world is moving, I feel like this is something that is going to help a lot of people, and I pray that you guys get one or two things. But don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. So without further ado, let me I have some pointers for you. One is live fully now. Tomorrow is not promised. It's very important to be in a state where, in as much as you plan for your 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, or whatever that you've put for yourselves, right? It's very important to be in a state where you learn to appreciate what you have now, because I feel there are moments when we are so sucked in what we're going to achieve in the next 10 years, in the next 5 years, we forget about what we are trying to do now, and that tends to override the gratification part, because, living in the present also is a very important thing. It tends to even be in a space where it gives you the zeal to appreciate what you're going to even attain in the next years that you have set for your life, your goals and values. The other point is treasure the small moments, they create the big ones. Just like I'm saying, it's very important to treasure the things that you have now, because sometimes, the funny thing with life, right? You always find somebody they say there's somebody always beautiful, there's somebody always more handsome than you, more beautiful than you, and who has more things than you, So being in a space where you treasure what you have, even whatever that's going to be added on top is just going to be a plus. So it's very important to be in a stage where you say, let me be thankful for what I have now, because sometimes we lose it, and it's very important and cardinal to be in a state where you treasure whatever that you have now, because it even gives you more room, and being in a space where, when you achieve the bigger things, right, you are like, this is just like a plus, because trust me, materialistic stuff never truly fulfill you, especially when you don't have the gratification part of you, because you wanted 100,000, you have it. Now your aim changes, right? Now it's like, I want 1 million. You have the 1 million, now it changes, like I want 1 billion, So being in a state where you say, okay, I want 100,000, right? You attain that. Then you keep on pushing, but being in a state where you say, I'm grateful for what I have now, even whatever you're going to attain 1 million, it's going to be just like a plus, So the other part is silence the noise, your presence is your strength. Again, I'll repeat this, being in a world that is just like the voices now, it's crowded, man, especially with social media, where everybody now tends to have a voice, and there's just a lot going on, and everybody, have their different opinions with life. So being in a state where your opinions, these voices cloud and clutter whatever that you're trying to do with your life. So it's very important sometimes to just back away and let your presence be felt, like feel your presence, because you tend to lose it sometimes, rather than like following up on certain different things, you find that you will divert and start following other people. So be in a space where you learn understand you, because being in a space where things that you have intended for your life are being followed nicely, minus the voices, the clutter that's coming from different sides, is also very important. So self-guide your space and make sure that you control the noise. Do you know there's a feature on the airports called active noise cancellation? It's called the ANC. So use that. Cancel out the noise. The other part is gratitude transforms life's simple moments into treasures. Again, gratification into those moments when you are getting whatever that you're achieving. So being graceful and grateful for whatever that you have is very important. Sometimes I feel we humans just tend to be not grateful for the things that we feel like are just too simple, like breathing. Why should I be grateful about breathing? But trust me, how many, like if you visit the hospitals now, you understand that breathing is also a cardinal thing, that you need on a daily, just like raising your hand. There's somebody who can't even do that. So being in a space where you're just grateful for the small things that are happening around you, will make a very big difference. Release the past and embrace the present. Living in the past sometimes, it's okay where you can visit, but not staying there, It's okay to go back in time and just reflect from where you are, but staying there is something that I don't encourage because some people are stuck in the past. They can't move on, And I feel like there's a point, like I'll give an example myself, right? The moment I lost my mom, I feel like there's a certain part of me that was stuck in there for a while, and it kind of hit different because, it's those moments in life when you ask yourself, like, I've never lost somebody close to me, and then this happens because you just hear about your friends losing their loved ones, and then this happens to you, So there's a moment when that happened, and I think I was still in denial, and the other thing I think I regret is just like capturing the moments, because I never had the moment to just like be in there and make sure that I am also, being with her, like capturing the moments and documenting everything like I do now, So being in a place where you like visit the past but don't stay there is also important. So I also had to struggle with that and just like move away from that. Then the last point that I have for you is joy is found not in where you are going, but in how you get there. I love what Kirk Franklin said. He said, there are points when, let's say, you're going somewhere, right? Enjoying the ride. The true joy is not in the destination, but it's in the process of getting to the destination, because it's through the destination that you tend to find out different kind of things, right? Where you sleep out throughout the journey and you just wake up and people tell you you're here. Like how, the question is, how did you get here? How did I get here? What did I miss? So there are all these things that we tend to forget. So trusting in the process and make sure you enjoy the process is very important, because that's where the true dimes, the true happiness is, because you tend to learn even a lot about yourself. And it's a very cardinal part of your life. So trust the process and find joy in the process. Yeah. Director D.
Yes.
What are some ways to break free from societal expectations and live a life that truly reflects your values and passions?
Societal expectations. I think one of the things I would highlight firstly is what is a man without principles? Many of us, just like I earlier alluded in the first question, is many people are just existing, and very few are living their life to the fullest. And often at the times that we have gents, we've not taken the time to find ourselves, but only until you take the time to find yourselves, then you will know what governs you as a person. When you get to learn your strengths, and not only your strengths, when you get to learn your weaknesses, then you know how to move around that. So first of all is understanding what are my values, what are my principles, and what are the things that govern me. Then you know how to navigate through life. So that's the first thing that we need to understand as men. And when you understand that, breaking free from societal expectations is understanding that as you are foregoing in life, one of the things you learn is risk. And risk is understanding the law of averages that I learned is the law of averages is the number of times that you swing a bat. If you've watched baseball, you see that there's a pitcher that throws the ball, and then there's that gentleman that hits the ball. And if you hit the ball, it goes. They call that a home run. So the law of averages explains the fact that the number of times you swing the bat increases the probability of you hitting a home run. What does that mean? The more swings that you take in life increases the probability of you catching your win. There's that saying that they say, luck is when preparation meets expectation. So understanding the fact that each time you keep swinging the bat increases the probability of you hitting the ball. But many other times in life that you find most people are afraid to swing because of different reasons. Some it's ego, some it's pride, some it's thinking about what other people would say. But then there are those people that are risk takers that do not care about what other people think. They put their pride away because they know that their goal they're trying to chase in life is more important. So the more swings they take, the higher chance of them hitting a home run is as compared to somebody that's just seated and ducked down and fearing what other people say about them. So that's the law of average. And the other thing that I would highlight is breaking from societal expectations is I've always been fascinated about the minds of people that have gone ahead and have gone far in life. One of the people I can highlight is Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk. All of these people have stood up because in the inception of their journey, they are not understood. There are people that thought outside the box and everybody thought they were weird, you know what I mean? But then they were always persistent of the things that they believed in. And one of the things I loved about Steve Jobs is there's a gentleman that used to follow him around, and then he said he was always fascinated with the mind of Steve Jobs, of which Steve Jobs had painted the back of his yard. And then he said he called this the paint the back of the fence. Often at the times, people, we want to make sure that the outside of the fence looks clean and looks beautiful as compared to the inside. But one of the things that you learn today, and why I love Apple products, is they've taken the same theory of painting the back of the fence to make sure that even the inside of their products look as beautiful as the outside. So you find the same maximum amount of effort they put in the product looking pretty outside, the same amount of effort they put in the products looking beautiful in the inside. So you'd find that even the smallest chip in the iPhone, they make sure it looks beautiful. What does this mean? This means that if you have the passion for perfection, you even care about the beautiful parts that are unseen. And that's one of the things you learn about revolutionaries, is they make sure that even the unseen parts look beautiful because they're all part of the process. And the last one I would say is the theory of the 5,000 chips. What does this one say? Is the smallest things we do can cause a domino effect in the change in our future. The rule of the 5,000 chips theory is understanding that every chip among those 5,000 think of it as an hour of a day in your life. So not wasting time is one thing that you get to understand. One thing I've learned about rich people is, not even rich, wealthy people, is they always make sure that they spend their time right. Meaning every hour of the day is calculated as to what they want to do. Meaning you never find them wasting time anyhow, because they've understood that you cannot gamble with the chips of your life on the roulette table, because every infinite amount of time that you spend on this earth is very important. So making sure that you allocate every chip of your life to a better cause is very vital. Yeah, I think I would highlight these few points. Mr. 837.
Yes, sir.
How do you stay true to yourself when faced with pressure to conform to norms or expectations?
It's tough, because everybody now has a say to how you should live your life, and it's not easy, and that's just one thing I've come to understand and learn, especially when you choose the life of being in the limelight or in the public. It's like everybody has a say on what you should do and what you should not do. So it's a crazy world we're living in, and being your authentic self is getting harder day by day. So the first thing is listen to your inner voice. It knows the way. Learn to trust yourself. Learn to trust yourself and whatever that God has placed on your heart. That thing they say, gut feeling. It's very important to also have that. To listen to that, because it's like everybody wants you to live whatever that themselves want to project on you. So being in a space where you say, I know who I am, and I know the type of person that I would want to become. I think I talk about this with D. I'm like, if you don't know your identity, right, anybody can give you a name. So it's very important to know who you are, because everywhere you go, if they give you are this, you're that, you're this, you're that, you grow up and later realizing that it didn't matter, like all these things that people are projecting on you, like they just never made sense. It was the insecurities being projected on you. So learn to listen to your inner voice, because it knows who you truly are. The other part is be official in a world full of copies, just like the podcast. Authenticity. Be official. Be you, because in a world where everybody is trying to be like, oh, I want to be like this, I want to be like that. It's okay to be inspired. It's okay to be motivated. But it's a different case when you start following or doing exactly what the other person is doing, because you end up missing what your purpose is. You end up missing what God has injected into your life. So it's very important to be your own original self, to be official, because everyone else is taken. So the other point is your uniqueness is your strength. Never trade it for approval. I feel like each and every person has this unique thing to them, There was a time when I could not be in a space where I loved myself, or loved the tone of my voice, or loved how I walk, how I look. I had this self-sabotage where I would sabotage myself, and I wouldn't just be in a space where I accept myself. I always wanted to be like, I like how that person looks, and how I wish I would be like them. Not knowing that what I was given by God is very unique. There's a guy who, I think there's a rapper on TikTok called Gifted Hands. He's disabled, right? He doesn't have hands. But the things that he's able to do, it's like, jeez. And he like he's at a point where you could tell like he's not left himself and just like neglected himself. Because I feel sometimes we keep on blaming people, blaming God, blaming whoever about the way things have turned out. Like, why do I speak like this? Why do I do this? I remember the story of Moses. he was stuttering, right? He couldn't speak very well. And yet he questioned God, like, listen, the way I speak, these people won't be able to understand, and they won't be able to. So it was that self-sabotage where you feel like what I have can't be, be received, or I can't be accepted, But if you look at the story of Moses, he turned out to be somebody who, still in the Bible, people still talk about him, So accepting the things that you have and just working according to what you have, because we have 1 billion people, yet our fingerprints are different. That tells you how beautiful and super, like how super God works, man. So embrace your uniqueness. The other point is don't dim your light to fit into someone else's shadow. Shine, man, shine. Wherever you go, just shine. Be yourself, Let the room feel you. Like, where you walk into a place and everybody turn heads? Yeah. Just shine your light. Shine your light. Be you. Be official, Make it official. Stay official, So make sure that everywhere you go, you're being official and you're making it official and you're staying official, because that is who you truly are. The other part is conformity kills creativity. Stay true to who you are. I feel the moment you start conforming to the world standards, you don't become the creative person that God created you to be. So if you start conforming to what people are trying to box you in, then you won't be at a place where you express yourself or bring out the best of the things that God has instilled in you. We know you as an probably let me give an example of Director D, right? We just know him, he shoots. But yet people didn't know that he could even speak better than me, So these are things that sometimes you tend to just shy away, because no, me, I'm just this, I can't do this. No, because people have told you that, So being in a place where you don't conform to the world standards and express yourself. You want to sing, go ahead and sing. You want to act, please go ahead and do that. It's about trying different things, and that, trust me, is just brings out the best and the things that you'd ever want to be. The last part is let your values guide you, not the crowd. Voices, again, going back to the voices, right? Don't let the crowd determine what God has placed for you. So there's a picture on social media that goes always viral, and I feel it comes in different formats. There'll be like 1,000 black umbrellas and only one red umbrella. There will be 1,000 people walking the other direction and only 2 people walking the other directions. There will be like 1,000 people lined up and there's a sign written, comforting lies. And there'll be another signpost written, the harsh truth, right? And you find there's nobody who wants to listen to the harsh truth, and everybody's lined up to comforting lies. So I feel being in a place where you understand and don't follow the crowd is very important. Stay rooted in self-belief even when the world sways. Staying rooted in what you believe in is very cardinal. Like, make sure that your why is very, very loud. And trust me, that way you'll be able to maneuver whatever that comes your way. I know you can do it. So, yeah, peace.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today on the BeOfficial podcast. I've been your co-host, Director D, with my host, Paul837. We do hope you guys enjoyed today's conversation of being alive and not just existing. And pretty do share your insights and whatever you learned on our Facebook page at BeOfficial Podcast, on TikTok at BeOfficial Podcast, on YouTube at BeOfficial Podcast, on TikTok at BeOfficial Podcast. And those of you, my corporate people, we are also on LinkedIn at BeOfficial Podcast. Join us next week, Tuesday, and stay tuned. From me and the team, sign out.